How significant does that feel for Chelsea in terms of the Champions League, Glenn?
Very significant, I've got to say. You know, they had that, they saw Newcastle drop points, so they said, right, we've got to get out and do our business. Cut away from Liverpool, they're champions, and whether they play at their very best or whatever team they get out there to be professional. And they did. I felt they were going to be motivated. They came out of the traps really quick and hit Liverpool early, and it was the best thing that could have happened for them. I thought there were some really good individual performances from Chelsea, Palmer being the top one, but Cucurella defensively didn't see Salah today, really, at all. Done his job. Salah really doesn't defend that much, but he didn't go and attack Cucurella. It was like one-on-one, take him out of the game, did the job. Casado did very, very well on the other side, right back, and then went into midfield, releases Fernandes, and you see him, Fernandes, arriving in the box quite a lot, gets his goal. So tactically, Chelsea today, it was all spot on, and they got it right, and they thoroughly deserved the win. But the fact that Palmer, the talisman, really, who's been so brilliant since he's been at Chelsea, has had this lean spell. For him to get on the score sheet and play, like we said before the show, before the game, let him play. He's best when he's just playing free. And today he had that position where he could, because Casado goes into midfield, it releases him even more. So he found himself in lots of times and space, and wow, if you're going to give him time and space, he will hurt you. And he did today. He hurt Liverpool a lot.
And with the run he's been on, 18 games, as we mentioned, without a goal involvement, it would bother some players. But his body language, he doesn't look like he gets bothered in any way, shape or form, Cole Palmer.
He doesn't, but internally he would be a bit
He wouldn't show it, would he?
No, he wouldn't really show it. But I mean, Glenn makes the right point, because we've all been there. We've all had lean spells. We've all either not scored, or if you're a defender, you're conceding all the time, or making mistakes, or whatever position you play. You do something. When things go wrong, you start thinking about things. Why am I not playing? Why am I not scoring now? What have I done? And you start thinking, shall I get closer to the goal? Will it give me a better chance of scoring if I do this, this and this? And as soon as you start becoming a thinking player, you've not got that natural magician-like things that Cole Palmer has got. And he has got to go out there and almost, he's better when he's not bothered. When he is what he seems, you know, when he's just lackadaisical, you know, just looks like it's a part game. And I think that's what he started looking like again today. Don't tie him down to rules. Don't put him in positions or say you've got to be here at this point. Let him play, because that's when he creates magic. And yeah, and I think if there's anybody, don't get me wrong, certain defenders, when the ball's there, you have to be here. That's just, you know, certain. But for someone like Cole Palmer, that's a bit of a free spirit, he doesn't want to be tied down to anything. And Glenn hit the nail on the head before the game. You know, he looks like, before today, he looked like he was thinking about it. And when he thinks, you know, it's not a good sign. So, yeah, he was back to his best.
I think the thing with a player like Palmer is that when you're not playing at your best, things start to get like a wall, and they start to enclose in you and within your mind. And then it gets worse, and then he's gone all them games without scoring. Now he's broke the seal, what I call breaking the seal in this game. That can be done in one game. All that build-up of many, many games are out the window now. It's just one game that takes a creative player to really say, I'm back to my best. So it's come at a great time for him. They're in a semi-final of a conference if he plays. And obviously they're playing Newcastle next, who's the biggest rival for them for the top 5. So it's a wonderful time for him just to go. He'll forget about all that now. That's out the window. That's gone. That's down the road. It's now, wow, I enjoyed that. I'm back to my best. Can't wait to get out and play again.
What he's got to do, though, Glenn, as well, he's still only reasonably young. What he's got to probably do is learn from this and not feel that enclosed. In future, he can't let it go to 17 games. You know, there are easy wins. When you get experience, there are easy wins that actually get you out of these ruts far, far quicker than an inexperienced player. There's simple things that you can do to make yourself feel better again. And I think he might look back on this run and think, do you know what? What took me so long? There's nothing different here. And next time it might be 4 or 5 games of not Cole Palmer play.
There's a great point you make there. And with my experience now of being a player for so many years and the manager, is that that happens and you wait for that to come alive. Now, it's took a long, long time for him for that to happen. Too long. Now, there's 2 ways of doing that. You're waiting and waiting for that game, or a striker, that goal, when there's a little bit of a lean spell. But that's why sports psychologists in the games today can shortcut that. I don't know if he's worked with a sports psychologist there or not, but you could have put that right way back if he'd have gone and sat and spoke to him and started, because everything comes from your mind first. It's your intention first. You don't just go out and play. Your mentality and how you think and how you feel is even more important than how you think. So that could be put back in very, very quickly. Particularly strikers, for instance. If a striker misses an open goal and they go in, they say, sorry, lads, let you down. They say, you're right on the Monday morning. You go, yeah, I'm fine, Gaffer, I'm fine. You wouldn't tell them that you're not. It's playing in there. It's in the subconscious. Now, that can come out with a sports psychologist. That's why you have them. Because mentally, the game's played in your mind first. That's the first port of call for any player. And I think he will learn from that. And the experience of it now, I put it right last time. It took me a long time. But that's why sports psychologists are so important in sport, not just football.
Interesting. Okay. He's got personality. He's 23 this week, actually. And he's a sort of a character that would rub off in a positive way on his teammates, Glenn.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, he looks like like we're saying, as a player when he's at his best, doesn't care too much, doesn't think too much about it. You know, it's well, I didn't think I played, player of the match. I think there was better players out there. He's pretty humble as well. Let's hope he doesn't change. The key for him is not to change. That's the thing. Go back to analyse how he's played today compared, and how he's felt inside, and how he's played today compared to the last run that he's had, and keep it. And keep it for the rest of his career. Then when, as Michael said, when he goes through these little runs again, he might get injured, come back 3 weeks later and say, right, I've done it before, I can do it again now. And that's where you have to think about the game to be consistent and play year after year after year. But he's a special talent. I just hope he doesn't start really thinking about the game until he's 30. If you like, and then he can hand it all on to somebody else during a game and give him their experience, because he's a kid. Hopefully he'll play for England like that as well, and just feel as if a manager's job then is to say, look, I really, really rate you. You can have 4 bad games and you're still going to play the 5th game. If you tell him that and he can relax and go and play, we'll get the best out of him.
What's the best, area to score goals? All of these things you can get fed and fed and fed all this information. But I think if you fed him all this information, he wouldn't be half the player he is. He just needs to feel it, just to sense it, and just to wander into areas that he believes, and he gets just a feel, let's say. Instinct is probably the word I'm looking for. Nobody could teach me where to stand. When there's a ball about to drop into, I don't care how many managers or how many... No one can
did anyone try?
That. No one can teach you that. No one can teach him to smell a little area of danger. If I stand in here, if I move into there, that's just uncoachable. So a lot of the things that he'll be getting fed, they probably apply to the rest of the team. If I was him, I'd take little notice of it, because he needs to be that free spirit. And there's very, very few. There used to be a lot, Glenn, I feel, in the game.
Yeah.
That type of player is getting phased out a little bit now. Yeah. It's refreshing to see him actually be...
And great to see him back at his best, And that's the thing, he can pick a pass from 60, 70 yards, and then he can take people on, drop his shoulder and get the other side of players. But he's got both. He can take 5 or 6 players out with one pass. He can go past 3 or 4 players. And if you go past a player, then you're drawing another player out, and there's space for someone else instantly on the football pitch. But I think today Liverpool weren't quite at it, let's be fair, but that's not Palmer's fault. That's not Cole's problem. He's eating up all the space in the world, and he's going to hurt you with that sort of space. More importantly for the manager and for Chelsea Football Club at the moment is he's now back to his best right at the time they need him. Okay, they've not been so consistent this year, but they've found themselves now right in the race for this Champions League, and they've got their talisman, their best player, without a doubt, just now turned the corner, and they're playing Newcastle next. Wow, what a performance he's going to be looking forward to.
On that, you're right, he is their best player. You say he's their talisman. In this barren run, there's been suggestions that he needs a little bit more help from those around him, that Chelsea put him under too much pressure. They're too reliant on Cole Palmer. So moving forward, can they add a little bit more top quality in that team so he doesn't carry so much on his own shoulders?
Well, they can, and if they want to go to the very top, which is, I'm sure, what they want to do, what they've been used to over recent years, then of course the whole team needs to lift their levels. But I've always been sceptical in terms of when people say, "Well, how did you carry that pressure? I can guarantee you he doesn't feel pressure. Did you feel pressure playing? I didn't feel pressure playing.
No,
that's what you're good at. That's what you want to be.
What about they're too reliant on him?
Even better. Even better. I felt 8 foot. And I'm only half of that before you say, if I go out onto the pitch and I feel that my teammates are thinking, we need you today. If I sense that, then that makes me feel even better. I feel as if I'm going onto the pitch, as if I can't fail. It's not pressure. It's a responsibility. It's great to feel like you're needed in a certain way. No matter what job you do, there'll be millions of people out here watching. Whatever you do in your industry, isn't it great to go into your office or your factory or you're onto the football pitch or wherever it is and feel as if what you do is actually special and that not many people can do it and that everybody looks at you and thinks, do you know what? We need you on our team, whatever role that is, and it takes a lot of people to piece into a team. So no, I don't believe that at all in terms of feeling too much pressure or responsibility. I think that helps you grow. But in terms of the whole team, it's the manager's job to get better players in.
Well, I was going to say, that's the selfish striker's playing point of view. What if you are the manager? You don't want to be too reliant on one singular player, do you, in a group like that?
No, but you want a special player, and he is a special player. And as a manager, you're saying, I want him on the ball.
Because you want better players around
Well,
him.
yeah, anyone would want. You want to be Zidane was a wonderful, special player, but he also had some fantastic players around him. Of course, every manager, every club, every player, Palmer would want that. If he could get a striker that he knew that would make them runs that Jackson makes, but he could finish every single one of them,
he'd look even better.
He'd look even better. The assists would go up even more. But the thing is, as a manager, you say, I want him on the ball. So you say to Casado, you say to whoever's playing that day, feed him. Feed him. Keep giving him the ball. Particularly now, he's turned the corner with this one game. Just give him the ball, because he will make things happen for us as a team, and you as an individual want to be successful. Keep feeding him. Feed the bear. Because you just want him to have more touches than any... We saw his touch map there. And he had, equal anyone else on the pitch in the penalty area, but you saw where else he was picking the ball up. That's what they want to do. Even when he's playing poorly, even if he's one of them players, if he's not having the best of games, he's got that little bit of inspiration, that moment, that pass, that little bit of top corner bang, it's in the back of the net. He comes off the pitch, he didn't think he played that great today, did he? He didn't think he was player of the game.
I mean, Michael and I covered the game where he scored 4 in the first half.
Yeah.
Premier League history. We spoke to him afterwards and he said, I was just fuming I didn't get 6. Didn't he?
With a straight face.
With a straight face, genuine straight face.
That's great. That's brilliant. I mean, you just keep pushing yourself. But he inspires other people, not by his talking and his actions with his feet and with his mind, football brain. And that's what you want in any team. And I think, looking at the international thing, I think, I just hope Tuchel's watched that performance and thinking, wow, we've got some player on.
Would you like to have managed Cole Palmer?
Oh, I think anyone would. Any manager would want a player like that in his team. He was up there, as Michael said, as less and less of them players. We got a glut of them that have got ability, actually, with England, when you think about it. With Bellingham, different style, but Foden, and, there's a lot of creative players, but I think this kid now, with what he's done, coming from City so quickly, when Chelsea were having a struggling time, he elevated them. Now, to do that at a young age and move from up north down to south in London, and a big club that the owners want to be winning the league, they want to be in the Champions League, it's water off a duck's back with him. He just naturally goes and plays, like we're saying, and he's elevated Chelsea unbelievably, and he'll do it. I think he's timed his run into the box, if you like, the way he's performed today. Next, they got 3 games left, is it? So, wow, it's a good time for him to be at his best.
Yeah, what a massive win for Chelsea. 3-1 over Liverpool is not easy. Their first win over Liverpool in 11 years, 11 matches and 4 years in counting, and their first win over Liverpool at Stamford Bridge in 7 years or something like that. So it's been very, very bad against Liverpool for Chelsea in recent years. This will be a kind of a morale booster heading into the match against Newcastle, which I know is gonna be one hell of a match. You know, the intensity of that match will be crazy, super crazy. You know, Newcastle need that game, Chelsea need that game, and whoever wins that game, you know, has his leg, you know, closer to Champions League qualification. And if Chelsea win against Newcastle, I think the momentum taking them to their game against Manchester United at Stamford Bridge will give them a win. And if they win that match again, also, they will confirm Champions League qualification. So that match, a lot is riding on that particular match. Then again, having their key players back, Cole Palmer, who hasn't scored a goal in 17 matches, scoring a goal today, you know, that will give him some confidence. And then they have Romeo Lavia back. You know, for me, he's the most important player for Chelsea. I'm not saying he's the best player, but he is the most important player because he's the guy that makes things happen. The way Maresca wants to play, he needs somebody like Romeo Lavia in midfield, moving the ball as quick as possible, breaking lines as quick as possible. As soon as a player gets himself free from his marker, get the ball to him. That's what Lavia does. And that's how Chelsea's first goal came about. So far, so good. Amazing performance for Chelsea. Even though Liverpool have already won the league, but their second half performance showed that they didn't come to the match, you know, to lie low, to be beaten. They gave it their all in the second half. And Chelsea are lucky enough, you know, to get the third goal through a penalty to confirm the win. Heading into the game against Newcastle, which will be a very important game. You know, for me, it's going to be their their most important game of the season so far. That particular game, a lot is riding on it because it's a 6-pointer. If they win, they keep Newcastle 3 points below them. If they lose, Newcastle will be 3 points ahead of them, you know, with 2 games left to play. So a lot is riding on that game, and that's why I feel that game is going to be one hell of a match. The intensity, it will be highly contested. And Liverpool at the moment, I will say they have the upper hand because they are playing at the St. James's Park, and their atmosphere, that hostile atmosphere, is something else to play under. But Chelsea, they are coming. I mean, with their having recovered their players, you know, they have something now to play with. You remember they lost a lot of players, good players, Fofana, Lavia, Palmer at some point, Jackson for a long period. It affected them. You know, this football, this sport is all about quality. It's all about quality. If you miss 2-3 key players, you are done for. Unless you have the exact quality of players or something close, on the bench. Chelsea didn't have that. They don't have that, and it affected their game. But right now they have it, and it is 3 straight victories in the Premier League. 3 wins out of 3. At a point, they were begging for wins. They couldn't get one. But so far, what can I say? You know, they are in top form, and if they continue like that, you cannot bet against them winning at Newcastle.